Hey everyone, and welcome to another video tutorial from videocourse.com. In this video, we're gonna create this awesome lighting logo reveal animation together in Adobe After Effects from scratch. You don't need any prior knowledge of After Effects to create this logo reveal project, and by the end of this course, you will be able to create any type of lighting logo reveal projects with complex camera animations. Also, you will learn how to add special effects to your scenes, how to create awesome environments for your logos, how to create smooth animations, and finally, you will be able to render your final projects to share on the internet. If you are a new After Effects user, you will learn lots of great techniques in Adobe After Effects in less than 1 hour, so you will be able to use all the techniques to create amazing logo animations on your own. So if you are ready to have fun and if you are eager to learn how to create professional logo reveal animations, enroll now and I will see you in lesson 1. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hey everyone, and welcome to another video tutorial from videocourse.com, and thanks for your enrolling in this lighting logo reveal animation in Adobe After Effects. If you like to learn all the techniques you need to create this type of logo reveal animation, I highly recommend you to watch all videos carefully, so you will learn lots of great techniques in After Effects that will help you to create amazing logo animations. Okay, I hope you will enjoy watching this video tutorial. So without wasting time, let's start working on our lighting logo reveal animation in Adobe After Effects. In this video tutorial, we need to have a plugin called Saber. You can find this amazing plugin in project file in download section. I have provided Windows and Macintosh version in zip file, so extract and install it on your computer and restart your After Effects. Okay, first of all, let's import our logo. So double click in project window or right click and choose import file. Then select and import your logo file. Okay, now let's create a new composition. For composition name, enter logo. For width, enter 3840 pixels. For height, enter 2160 pixels. For pixel aspect ratio, select square pixels. Set frame rate to 23.976 frames per second. For duration, enter 200 frames. And finally, for background color, select black or enter this code. Okay, now let's drag this logo into logo composition. As you can see here, my logo is bigger than my composition, so select logo and press S key to load a scale property and decrease the scale value. And another way to match the logo size to your composition, from menu choose layer, transform, fit to comp height, or press Ctrl Alt Shift and G. Okay, now let's organize our project. So create a new folder and rename it to Pix and move the logo file into this folder. Okay, now we're ready to create our main logo composition, so click on create a new composition button down here, and for name enter logo FX. All the settings are the same as logo composition. Width is 3840 pixels, height should be 2160 pixels, and nothing needs to be changed, everything is just perfect the way it is, so hit OK button. Now drag logo composition into logo FX composition. To add Saber effect to this composition, we need to trace this logo composition. So select it and from menu choose layer auto trace. You can use my settings as a reference. For example, set channel to luminance. For tolerance, enter 5. For threshold, enter 15. And make sure this apply to new layer option is on. You can use different numbers to have more or less points on your masks. For example, if you enter smaller numbers for tolerance, you will have more points on your mask. And if you enter smaller values for threshold, you will have less details for your masks. Okay, in this case, I think 5 and 15 are good enough. Hit OK button. Okay, here we have our mask, nice and clean. If you can't see these mask lines and points, maybe your toggle mask button is off, so click on this toggle mask and shape path visibility button. Okay, select this layer, hit return key and rename this layer to lights. We need to change the color for this layer, so from menu choose layer, solid settings, and here change the color to black. Okay, now I want to change the mode, so click on this toggle switches modes button to access to this mode color. Or you can press F4 to make this column visible or invisible. Now for mask layer, select screen mode and turn off this toggle mask button to hide these masks for now. Okay, now select this lights layer and press M key to load all masks. Here you can see several masks with a keyframe on frame 0. We don't need these keyframes, so select and delete them. Okay, now it's time to add magic to our logo, I mean that magic saber effect. So select the lights layer and go to FX and preset panel. If you can see this panel, simply from menu choose Window, FX and Presets, or press Ctrl 5. Now type saber. Yes, there you are, my friend. This wonderful effect helps us to create an amazing logo reveal. Okay, now double click on it or simply drag it over your lights layer. Okay, now as you can see, we have it in Effect Controls panel. As you have seen in preview video, I have created several saber effects, and for each one I've used different presets. So for the first saber effect, I want to use a portal preset. Let me find it. Yes, there you are. And now as you can see, that straight line changed to this amazing shaky line. Okay, let me rename this effect to Saber Portal. Now let's change the color for this saber. I like to enter this code, D96B00, but you can choose whatever color you like. To change the line intensity, you can change core size. The higher the number, the more light you will have. For this line, I want to have lower light, so let's enter, for example, 0.14. Increase the glow intensity, for example, let's enter 175%. Now let's change glow spread. If I use lower numbers, we will have a shaky line. If I zoom a little bit, you can see this shaky line clearly. Okay, for this portal effect, let's enter 0.14 for glow spread. Okay, here in customize core section, we have an important guy called core type. Set this option to layer masks. And yes, now we have this portal effect over all the mask lines. To have a better view, let's hide logo composition. Yes, here we have a saber effect for our logo. Great. Currently, our composition has a black background and it's not transparent. Let's check it. Click on this button. Yes, if you can see a white and gray checkboard, it means your background is not transparent. Okay, I want to have our saber effects on a transparent layer to be able to see our logo that is under this lights layer. So here in render settings section, we have two important options. Composite settings option is black, so we have a black background for lights layer. So we have to change it to transparent. And set alpha mode to mask core. Here we have another great option. If you choose disable, we will have more brightness for our saber effect. Okay, for now I choose mask core option. Okay, now I want to create animation for this saber effect. I'm gonna add some keyframes to start size, start offset, and end offset. These options give more dynamic style to our saber effects. So go to frame 0 and set a keyframe for start size at value 0. Select the layer, hit U key to load all keyframes. Now let's go to frame, for example, 15 and change start size to, for example, 200. Yes. Go to a few frames forward to 45 and click on this small diamond button to create another keyframe for start size at current value, I mean 200. Now let's go to frame 16 and change its value to 0. Okay, so good so far. The next effect I'm gonna add some keyframes to that is a start offset. So go to frame 0 and set a keyframe at value 100. And then let's go to frame 60 and change it to 0. Okay, let's see the result. Great. Okay, the next effect is end size. Simply change it to 0. And finally, let's add some keyframes to this guy, end offset. So let's go to frame 30 and set a keyframe at value 100. And then go to frame 60 and change it to 0. Great. Okay, let's see a preview. Move work area end handle to a few frames after the last keyframe. Select lights layer and press U key 2 times to load all keyframes. Okay. Press numpad 0 or spacebar to see the preview. It's great. Okay, let me change alpha mode to disable to have more lights for this server. Okay, now we can add offset to this saber effect. To do this, we have to use a mask evolution property. As you can see, by changing this effect, I can decide where my saber effect starts. In fact, we can shift this effect over our masks. Okay, let's set it to, for example, 60. Now, as you can see, our saber effect will start from this point. If I change it to 0, our effect will start from this point. So we can shift this saber by mask evolution property. Let's change it to 60 again. Okay. Or maybe we can set it to -60. This time our saber will start from here. Yes, great. Okay, now let's change another effect. Here we have flicker. Increase flicker intensity to 15 and turn on this mask randomization property. This will help us to have a flicker effect for this saber. As you know, all lights have a little bit of noise and flicker, so by doing this we will have a natural light. Okay? As I told you before, to have more brightness you can increase core size, and to have shaky lines you can decrease glow spread. To change a property with a small and precise values you can hold Ctrl key and drag over the value field. Okay, let's change it to 0.14 again. Okay, great. We have finished this portal saber effect. Hello and welcome back. I hope you have enjoyed this course so far. Okay, now I want to create the second saber effect. Instead of doing all these steps, I prefer to duplicate this portal saber and only change some values to have a different saber style. So, select this saber portal effect and press Ctrl D, or from menu choose Edit, Duplicate. Let's disable this saber portal effect for a few seconds. Now for this new saber, let's choose a new preset. Where are you, my friend? Yes, wavelet. I was looking for this guy. So let's rename it to Saber Wavelet. Great. Okay, now I want to change the color to something like this code 1CC7FF, but you can choose whatever color you like. I like this one. To have more lights you can increase core size, but I think 1.8 is good enough. And I think other default values are great. You can change glow intensity to have more or less glow effect, and you can change glow spread and glow bias if you like to, but I prefer to leave them at their current values. Okay, now let's change mask evolution to shift the start point, so set it to 0. Okay, and here we have an important property that we should change it. I mean this composite settings, we should change it to add instead of transparent. And for alpha mode, make sure this disable option is selected. Maybe you ask why I have to choose add for composite settings. Let's enable saber portal for a few seconds. Now if I choose transparent option for composite settings for saber wavelet, as you can see we can't see our first saber portal effect anymore. So what is the wise decision? Yes, well done. Make sure to choose add option. Let's disable saber portal again. Okay, now let's work on keyframes. I want to have same keyframes for this effect as well. If you are a little bit lazy like me, instead of creating all keyframes again, I think it's better to shift them a few frames to the right to add offset to the keyframes. Another wise decision, maybe? So, select lights layer and hit U key. Close this saber portal effect. And now select all these saber wavelet keyframes and let's shift them to frame, for example, 10. By doing this, we force this saber effect to start 10 frames after portal effect. So let's enable this saber portal again and scribing timeline. Yes, we have a nice offset. Great. Okay, let me add some keyframes to another property for portal effect. Where are you, my friend? These glow settings, and yes, I want to animate this glow intensity multiplier. So let's go to frame, for example 45, and set a keyframe here. Now let's increase this value a little bit. We can change alpha mode to mask core again to have a better look. Yes, it's great now. So don't forget to change mask core in alpha mode drop down option for saber portal. Okay, let's turn off saber portal again to concentrate on saber wavelet. Okay, now let's change this flicker effect, turn off mask randomization and change flicker intensity to 20. And for glow settings, make sure it's 65. Okay, I think this saber wavelet is completed. Enable portal effect and let's see a preview. Okay, great. Nice effects. Okay, now let's create our third magic saber effect. So, hide portal and wavelet effects. duplicate wavelet and turn it on. For presets, let me see. Yes, here it is. Select arc reactor. So rename this effect to saber reactor as well. And for color, we can use this code 0066FF. Okay, make sure in render settings we have add for composite settings and disable for alpha mode. Okay, I want to offset the keyframes we have for these animated properties. So select lights layer and press U key to load all keyframes. Close portal and wavelet to concentrate on arc reactor keyframes. Select all these keyframes and let's move to frame, let me see, to frame for example 30. And yes, this is arc reactor effect, another great saber effect, I love it. Okay, and for this saber I think we can turn on mask randomization in flicker section. Okay, now let's see a preview with all these three saber effects. Great, awesome. Okay, as you can see, our arc reactor effect starts exactly from where our wavelet saber starts. So we can shift it a little bit. So let's change mask evolution for arc reactor. So now instead of this point, arc reactor will start from this point. For example, change it to 50. Okay. Now as you can see, wavelet starts from here and arc reactor starts from this point, with a little bit distance between them. Great, I'm satisfied with the result. Okay, now let's add the next saber effect. So turn off all effects again, duplicate arc reactor. And for presets, let me see, I select this haze effect, yes. So let's rename it to saber haze and turn it on. Okay, our default haze effect is this, nice effect, but I want to modify some properties to have a different look, okay? So let's change the color code to B17317, something like a dark orange color. Let's decrease the brightness, so reduce core size a little bit, set it to 0.75. And let's change glow intensity to, for example, 33%. Let's decrease glow spread, so hold Ctrl key and drag over this number to have a shaky line. For example, set it to 0.065. Okay, and change glow bias to 0.07. Okay, check composite settings and alpha mode again. We should have add and disable options. Great. Okay, now again I want to offset our keyframes. So select lights layer and press U key 2 times. Close these three saber effects. Okay, select all haze keyframes and shift them to frame, for example, let me see, yes, frame 70 is okay. And let me check flicker effect, yes, it's okay too. Now go to a few frames before the first haze keyframe and press B key to move work area start handle to this frame, and then go to a few frames after the last keyframes and press N key. Now let's see the haze effect. Okay, great, awesome effect. If you like to have more lights, simply increase core size, and if you like to have shaky line, you can decrease glow spread property. Okay, now it's time to add the last saber effect, so duplicate saber haze. Select electric preset for this new duplicated effect and so rename it to saber electric. Let's change the color to FFBC3C. Bright orange color. Okay, change core size to, for example, 0.4. Increase glow intensity, for example, to 90%. Hold Ctrl key and decrease glow spread to 0.02. Also, let's decrease glow bias, for example, set it to 0.05. And let's change mask evolution to 0. This helps us to shift the starting point for this effect. Okay? Now it's time to add offset to our keyframes. So select lights layer and press U key 2 times, close other effects here, and finally select and move these keyframes to frame, for example, 95. Okay, let's make a shorter ramp preview and press numpad 0 or spacebar. Okay, great, nice effect. Okay, now I think it's time to see all the saber effects together, so turn them on. Great. Okay, and now I think we can make our logo visible again. So select it and press T key to load opacity property. Go to frame, for example 40, and set the keyframe at value 0. And let's go to frame, for example 70, yes, and increase it to 100. Okay, now select both keyframes, right click and choose keyframe assistant easy ease, or press F9. And finally select the last keyframe, right click and choose keyframe velocity, and for influence of incoming velocity enter 75%. Or while your last keyframe is still selected, open graph editor. Make sure you are in edit speed graph mode, and also this snap button should be activated. Click on this fit all graphs to view button and select the keyframe handle and drag it to the left until you see 75%. Okay, let's find the last keyframe. Yes, they are here. For example, frame around 160, and press N key here. Okay, now let's see the preview of all effects we have created so far. Okay, great. I'm really satisfied with the results. Okay, now we have finished our logo effects. Here I'm gonna show you a quick and simple logo animation. But if you'd like to create a professional looking logo animation, I highly recommend you to watch the next video. So, select Logo FX composition and drag it over this Smart Create a New Composition button. Rename it to Animation. Now we can animate this Logo FX layer. So, make this layer 3D. Press P, hold Shift key and press R to load position and rotation properties. Now go to frame, for example 50, and set the keyframe for position and Y rotation at current values. Let's go back to frame 0 and decrease Z position. Hold Shift key and drag over this number to change the value faster, and let's set it to -4500 and change Y rotation to -75. Okay, let's see the results. Okay, nice and simple animation. Okay, select these last keyframes, press F9 to make them easy ease, and in graph editor drag keyframe handles to left until you see 75%. Okay, now let's see. Okay, go to frame 160 and press N key. Okay, let's see the run preview. Okay, nice and awesome animation. If you like, you can enable motion blur here and also turn on motion blur for composition. So here we have a nice result and simple animation, but if you like to have a professional camera animation, amazing environment, nice reflection on the ground, and if you want to learn how to create a professional logo reveal animation, I highly recommend you to watch the next video. So don't miss the next video. I hope you have enjoyed watching this course. Thanks for your time and attention. Let's create a professional logo animation together. So see you in the next video. Have a nice day and bye. Hello and welcome back. I hope you have enjoyed watching this course so far. In this video, we're gonna add a camera, create a nice reflection, and change environment to make a professional logo reveal animation. So without wasting time, let's dive into it. First of all, let's create a composition. Rename it to Final. All the settings are the same as previous compositions, so just press OK button. Okay, now drag Logo FX into Final composition. Let's take a look at it. Okay, great. Make this layer 3D. Now we need the camera, so from menu choose Layer, New, Camera. For camera preset you can select 50mm or 20mm. I pick this 20mm preset. Okay, great. To find the center of the screen, let's enable this Title Action Safe option. This plus sign shows the center point of the screen. Now select Logo FX and slightly raise it up. Okay. And I think I have to decrease the scale for this layer, so press S key and change scale value to, for example, 70%. Okay, now I want to create a reflection for our logo. So duplicate this Logo FX layer, rename the bottom layer to Logo FX Reflection. Now press R key and change X rotation to 180 and slightly bring it to bottom. Okay. Now let's decrease Y scale a little bit, so turn off this uniform scale button and change it to, for example, 40. and change the position again. Okay? And finally, I want to make it a child for LogoFX layer. So right click on this narrow area and choose columns, parent and link, and drag this pick-whip icon over LogoFX layer. Okay? Now if I move LogoFX layer, as you can see, reflection layer will move as well. Okay, now let's create a floor under our logo. So select Pix folder and import floor.jpg file. Okay. Now drag this floor file into final composition under all layers. Enable 3D button for this layer, then right click and convert it to a per composition. Rename it to floor comp and enable move all attributes option. Now again enable 3D option for this floor comp and change X rotation to -90. Then bring it down a little bit in Z axis. Okay, for example here, yes. Okay, as you can see, our floor layer can't cover this section of the composition, so we can open floor comp, select floor.jpg layer and activate world axis mode button, and now move it towards the bottom a little bit. Now open final composition, and now we need to activate this collapse button. Okay, as you can see, the floor layer will cover this section of the screen. Okay, I think it's better to extend this left and right part of the floor layer to cover the entire screen. So open floor comp and in effects and preset panel, let's find motion tile effect, apply it to floor layer, and here change output width to 300 and then change output height to 150. Also enable mirror edge checkbox. Okay, now in final composition, as you can see, the floor layer covers the left and right section of the screen. Let's reposition LogoFX layer. Okay, great. And bring the floor comp towards up a little bit until it covers the reflection layer. Okay, we don't need to see floor comp anymore, so let's hide it. Okay, now to have a nice reflection, we need an adjustment layer. So add an adjustment layer to this composition, rename it to reflection adjustment. Okay, and drag it above the LogoFX reflection layer. Okay, now let's add a blur effect to it. So from menu, choose effect, blur and sharpen, compound blur. For blur layer option, choose floor comp. Okay, great. Now to see this effect clearly, let's press C key several times to see this camera icon for your mouse, or you can click on this camera button up here. Now drag in composition window to move your camera around. To zoom in and zoom out, you can right click and drag your mouse, and to pan, press your middle mouse button. Okay, now you can see this nice blur reflection effect on your floor layer. Let's increase maximum blur option to have a better result. For example, set it to 50. Nice effect, isn't it? I love this type of reflection effects. Okay, now select LogoFX reflection composition and from menu choose effect, blur and sharpen, fast box blur. Change blur radius to, for example, 20, and also change blur dimensions to vertical. Press C key and move the camera to see the results. Okay, it's more natural reflection effect now. If you want to change the reflection clarity, open floor comp, select floor layer and from menu choose effect, color correction, curves. Okay, now let's add another viewer. So from menu choose view, new viewer. While this floor comp is still open, click on this lock button to hold open this view for this composition. Now open final composition. Let's expand this viewer a little bit to have more space here. Okay, now for floor comp, oops, it seems I forgot to lock this viewer, so open final composition again and lock this viewer for it. Okay, now in floor comp, I'm gonna change curves effect, and so please pay attention to this reflection to see how it changes. As you can see on the right viewer, our floor color changes, and so in the left viewer, our reflection will change as well. Okay, let's play with this curve to find the best result. Great. Okay, I'm satisfied with the results. Now let's move the camera to a better angle. Okay. Maybe it's better to reduce curves effect a little bit. Okay, it's better now. Okay, now close the floor viewer. Okay, go back to final composition to see the final results. Okay. Use middle mouse button to pan in viewer. Reposition camera again. Okay. Okay. If you like, you can change a scale property for floor layer. Let's change the scale. As you can see, our reflection changes as well. For example, let's change it to 75. Okay, great result, nice effect. As you can see now, our background is transparent, so let's add a black solid to the background. Press Make Comp Size button to have the same size to the final composition and change color to black. This black background always helps when you're blending layers over the layers. Now drag this layer under all layers. And finally turn off this toggle transparency grid button. Okay, now let's change camera zoom. So decrease zoom property, for example set it to 1000. And now right click and zoom in. This will help us to have a wide angle camera. Let's change logo position a little bit. Set Y position to 900 and set the Z position to, for example, 100. Okay, great. Okay, now I want to create an environment for this logo with two solid layers. So create a solid layer, rename it to color 1. And for color, let me enter this code 521195. Change the opacity to 60%. And let's select ellipse shape and create a mask here on top of this layer. While this mask layer is still selected, press F key to load feather property and increase it to, for example, 1000. Okay, now let's create our second solid layer. Rename it to color 2. And for color, enter this code 261A54. Drag color 2 layer under color 1 layer. Now let's create a mask for this layer as well. So use a rectangle shape and drag a big rectangle mask here in the middle of the composition. Okay, you can use selection tool and move mask points to modify mask shape a little bit. Okay, and now press F key and increase feather to again 1000. Okay, now select these two solid layers and for mode option choose screen. And in fact we have to drag them on top of reflection adjustment layer. Okay, let's check our reflection. Okay, I think everything is okay. Yes, great. Let's reposition the camera again. Okay, this is our simple and nice environment. Now it's time to animate the camera. So select the camera, press A key to load point of interest, and then hold Shift key and press P to load position property as well. Let's adjust point of interest first. So go to frame 0 and for X enter 9020, for Y enter 900, and finally for Z enter 0. Now let's go to frame, for example 75, and increase X position to 1975. Decrease Y position to, for example 900, and change Z position to, for example negative 650. Set a keyframe for position property at current values. Now go to frame 0 and let's decrease X position. So unlock this viewer for a few seconds. Let me add another viewer to have a better angle. Lock this viewer for final composition. And for the right viewer, let's change view to custom view 1 and lock it on this view. Okay, in frame 0, let's decrease X position to, for example 500. Change Y position to move the camera from top to the bottom, so decrease it to 0. And finally, let's change Z position to, for example negative 500. Okay, now watch the right viewer to see how the camera moves. Okay, great. The camera comes from the top to the bottom and it stops in front of the logo. Okay, great. Now use selection tool and try to move these keyframe handles to modify the camera path. This helps us to have a better camera animation. Okay, press C key and rotate around the logo to see these handles better. Okay, good. Okay, now press V key and move the handles. And let's see from the top angle. Okay. Move them until you get a good angle for your camera animation. Great. Okay, now let's select the last keyframe. Right click and choose keyframe assistant, easy ease. And again right click and choose keyframe velocity. And then for influence of incoming velocity, enter 75%. Now go to frame, for example 85 and press N key. Press numpad 0 to see the ramp preview. Okay, nice and smooth. Okay, now I think it's better to change the camera view a little bit in frame 75, so press C key and use the camera tool to move camera position here. Okay, now I'm satisfied with this result. I think we can add offset to LogoFX keyframes to force it to start a little bit later. So, in LogoFX composition, select both layers and press U key. Now press tilde button on your keyboard to see the timeline in full screen mode. Okay, now select all these keyframes and move them to frame, for example, frame 15. In fact, we are adding 15 frames offset to these logo effects. Now go back to final composition and let's see what we have here now. Let's see the results. Okay, nice animation. Okay, I think it's better to change the camera zoom a little bit, so open zoom property and change it to, for example, 600. Now let's go to frame 75 and increase Z position. For example, let's set it to -500. Maybe that 600 value is a little bit high for zoom property. It makes a very wide view for the camera and we have a distorted view. So let me change zoom to 750. And let's change Z position to -650. Okay, great. Okay, now I want to add depth of field to the camera. So in camera options sections, turn on depth of field property. Now let's go to frame, say 15 and set the keyframe for aperture property and change its value to 750. And now let's go to frame here on frame 40 and change aperture to 10. Okay, convert the second keyframe to easy ease, and in graph editor make sure you are in edit with graph mode and a snap button should be activated. Now drag this handle to the left until you see 75%. Okay, now let's see the results. Maybe it's better to move the second keyframe to frame 55 so we have this depth of field effect for a longer time. Okay, great. But it's not a bad idea to move LogoFX keyframes to frame 10 instead of frame 15. As you can see, I've shifted all keyframes 5 frames to the left. Okay, go back to final composition and let's see what we have now. Okay, great. Okay, I think it's better to move this reflection layer a little bit to have a better result. So in floor comp, let's move this layer and in the same time take a look at the reflection on the left viewer. Let's see it in full screen mode. Yes, it's better now. Okay, maybe it's not a bad idea to scale this floor layer a little bit. For example, let's test different numbers for scale. And let's move it a little bit. Let me see. Yes, okay, I think it's better now. Okay, nice results. And also we can update the curves effect a little bit. Yes, it's okay. Awesome. Okay, now I want to add glow effect under our logo. This makes the logo animation more amazing and more professional. Let's create an adjustment layer. Rename it to Glow FX. I don't want to add this glow to all elements in the scene. Instead, I want to add the glow effect only to saturated areas, like these lights on this logo and maybe a little bit of reflection effect on the ground. So let's add an effect from menu, effect, channel, set channels. And now for this set alpha to source, instead of using alpha channel, let's select saturation channel option. In fact, we want to get rid of everything that doesn't have a lot of saturation. And as you can see, our background is transparent now, because this effect reveals only those parts of the scene that are affected by set channels effect and hides the rest. Okay, now let's fill this transparent background. So from menu, choose effect, channel, solid composite. Okay, and set the color to black. Okay, now we can add a glow on top of this. So from menu, choose effect, stylize, glow. For this glow, let's decrease glow threshold to, for example, 20. Now let's increase glow radius. Okay, if I zoom a little bit, you can see what's going on here. Okay, now hold Ctrl key and decrease glow intensity. Let's set it to, for example, 0.1. Okay, now duplicate this glow effect. Leave threshold on 20%. Increase radius, for example, to 200 and set intensity to 0.25. Okay, Again, duplicate this glow effect. Let's increase this radius to, for example, 400 and change intensity to 0.5. 3 glow effects usually looks pretty good, okay? Now to see the final result of these effects applied to glow effects layer, let's change layer mode to add. And there you are, this is the final result with nice glow effect. Let's see before and after glow effects. Okay, nice glow effect, isn't it? Okay, as you can see, these effects are applied to only our logo and not to all the scene elements. Okay, great. If you like, you can decrease the opacity for this glow effects layer, so let's set it to, for example, 75%. Okay, maybe you want to color correct the glow, so we can add a curves effect on top of that. Let's modify this curve a little bit to find the best result, okay? To see the final impact, change the opacity to 100% again. Okay, as you can see here, we can color correct the glow effect, okay? And finally change the opacity to 75% again. Okay, let's see what we have now. Okay, if I turn off and on these glow effects, you can compare the results. Great. As you can see, glow effects have impact only on these bright and saturated areas and not on other parts of the scene. Okay, one thing that I want to do is create a little bit of light here on the ground. So select this logo FX and duplicate it. Rename it to logo FX glow 1. Press R key and change X rotation to 90 degrees. Use arrow keys and bring it down near the floor layer. Okay. Now let's add a fast box blur effect. Increase blur radius, for example set it to 30. I think we need to change the scale value for this layer soon. Okay, now let's make another duplicate and drag it under glow 1. Increase blur radius to 60. Create another duplicate, drag it under glow 2. And increase blur radius to, for example, 100. Okay, now select these 3 layers and from mode column choose add. Okay, let's change the opacity, so set it to 20. Okay, I think we should change a scale for glow 1, unlock the uniform scale and decrease Y scale. Okay, change a scale property for glow 2 and glow 3 as well. Okay, great. Let's see a preview now. Okay, great. Okay, now let's drag these glow effects under the logo FX layer. Also, we can parent them to logo FX in parent and link column. Okay, I think we can add a little bit of rotation to this logo to create more dynamic logo animation. For example, let's go to frame 60 and set a keyframe for Y rotation at value 0. Now let's go to frame 0 and change Y rotation to -45. Convert the last keyframe to easy ease. And for influence of incoming velocity, enter 75%. Let's see a preview. Okay, let's change it to -180 to have more rotation and so more dynamic animation. And convert the first keyframe to easy ease as well. Okay, let's see the results. Okay, I love this version. I think we have a better logo animation now. Okay. We can decrease the opacity of this reflection layer, so select logo FX reflection and decrease it a little bit. For example, set it to 50%. Let's change a scale of these glow layers as well. 20, 35, and for the last layer, 50. Okay, now also change opacity for these layers. For example, set them to 15%. Okay. I think it's better to convert the first keyframe to linear again. By doing this, our logo will rotate a little bit sooner, okay? It's not a bad idea to move logo FX keyframes to frame 15 again. Now let's see the results. Okay, great. Okay, let's do some modifications to the scene to have better results. So, for color 1 layer, double-click on the mask to activate transformation handles. Hold a spacebar and click and drag to pan on the composition. And now scale it a little bit, okay? I think it's better now. Don't forget to select all layers and activate motion blur for them, and also turn on this motion blur button up here. maybe it's better to change camera zoom a little bit. For example, let's change it to 900. Okay, now our logo is closer to the camera. Okay. Great, this is the final result. Okay, we have successfully finished our lighting logo reveal animation project. I hope you have enjoyed and learned new tips, tricks and techniques in this course. Here you learned how to create this type of camera animation, but maybe you like to create simple animations for your logo reveals. It's up to you. So go ahead and create different camera animations using all the techniques you learned in this course. Use your creativity and try to create amazing logo animations. Okay, if you'd like to learn how to render this awesome lighting logo reveal animation in After Effects, I highly recommend you to watch the next video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Have a nice day and bye. Hello and welcome back. I hope you have enjoyed watching this course so far. In this video, we're gonna render our lighting logo reveal animation. But before that, let's add motion blur to our layers and compositions. So select all layers using Ctrl+A shortcut keys and here activate all motion blur options. And turn on this motion blur button as well. Also, you can select these compositions in project window and double click to open them up. And for all layers, activate motion blur options. And because we have activated motion blur button for the final composition, so this motion blur button is activated for all compositions as well. Okay, great. Okay, now let me show you how to render your final logo animation. Select final composition and from menu choose composition, add to render queue. Here we have three important sections: render settings, output modules, and output 2. Click on best settings and here set the quality to best. Set resolution to full. It takes a long time to render, so if you like, you can use half option. But never use other options like third or quarter, because After Effects built-in compressor will decrease the quality too much, so use these options only when you want to have a quick render and if the quality is not important for you in this phase. Okay, for frame rate, select use comp frame rate option, that in fact it is 23.976, that equals to your final composition frame rate. Okay, now click on lossless. Here in format section you can choose AVI or you can select QuickTime. Open format options window. Here in video codec we have lots of video codecs. You can select animation that creates a high quality and of course a large file size for you. So let's select animation codec and press OK button. And now in output section, you can select destination for your final rendered file. Give it a name here and press save button. Okay, great. Before pressing render button, make sure in final composition we have set work area start handle on frame 0 and the work area end handle should be at the end of our animation, somewhere like on frame, for example, 200. And finally, open render queue tab and press render button. Yes, now you must wait until After Effects renders your awesome and professional logo reveal animation. So make a cup of coffee and wait for the final result. Great, this is our final result. I hope you love it. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed watching this course and don't forget to post your final videos here, so we'll be really happy to see your awesome logo reveal animations. And also, if you like this course, don't forget to rate it and write a positive review for future students to see. I hope to have you in our other video tutorials from videocourse.center.com, so please visit our website now and I'm sure you will find interesting video tutorials in our website and here in our portfolio. Thanks for being with me until the end of this course. Have a nice day and goodbye.